We are live. Yes. Welcome to Chaos Amazement, where we explore the impact of digital technology on our daily lives.
My name is Chloe Larts.
And my name is Phil Vrijen.
And together we're building socialrunners.com, a platform where marketing people like me can book creative people like Phil over here.
Yes.
So that's actually, yeah. And I would like to recap a little bit. Some of the things that we talk about actually continue to be in the news. So maybe this is the day, the 31st of March.
Yeah, true, yeah.
That my Twitter account peaked because it's very well possible that today on the 1st of April I will lose my precious Twitter verified mark. I'd rather drop that than to buy Twitter Blue because it's the opposite of signaling that you're a trusted source, basically.
Yeah.
Even the New York Times today published that if they lose their verified check, they're not going to pay money for their own brands and for their journalists because, as they say, it has now become the opposite of signaling that you're a trusted source.
Yeah.
And then Captain, who's this actor who plays Captain Kirk on Star Trek?
Oh, I don't know his name.
Yeah, well, he is pretty active on Twitter as well. And then he asked. You got your finger on the button, right? So yeah, let's go with the flow. He asked Elon Musk, I've been adding value to this platform for at least 15 years. Can't I at least keep my my verified check on Twitter? And then Elon Musk said, no, we don't want to give any special treatment to famous people. But then turns out that there is a VIP list of people who are getting a special treatment on Twitter, and then some of them are really weird. On this secret list is, for example, LeBron James, an NBA player, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, you heard of her, and then of course President Joe Biden, but also an anonymous, pseudonymous conservative commentator called Cat32. Yeah, Cat32. No idea who this real person is, but he if you look at his tweets, he's a real jerk. So I wonder what the logic is. Probably like best buddies with Elon Musk, or maybe he's even like the even slightly more evil personality of Elon Musk. Cat the Third sounds like something that he would, use. Maybe it's Mark Zuckerberg's pseudonym. I don't know. I have no idea. Cat Third 2 is getting a special treatment and gets to keep its verified check, and I will probably lose it. But I don't care. I don't need this kind of affirmation of how important I am. I'm just cherishing the moment right now. So 31st of March, I have I don't know how many Twitter followers. John Cena follows me, and I still have the verified check. But all of that will probably be gone. Yeah. So I'm just trying to be cool. I'll never be as cool as the Pope in a puffy jacket. That was definitely the image of the week. It originally was posted on Reddit in the Midjourney subreddit, where people post their work on Midjourney, but then it went completely viral, and I have to admit, so one of the comments was, when high mass is until 7:30 and the Drake concert is at 8. The way our current Pope was carrying this white puffy jacket, and then the swag that he was showing, that was just, we can only dream of ever becoming this cool. And because it went viral, obviously a lot of people thought, just like with the Donald Trump images, a lot of people thought it was real. But remember last week, Timmy was listening and he asked the question, how can you see if a deepfaked image is fake? And maybe we can have a closer look at this image. For example, for the time being, because Midjourney also improves, but if you look closely to the face of the Pope, you can see that the glasses merge into his cheek. So that's obviously, so that's how you know for sure. And then, so he's wearing a cross, which is cool because that's what rappers often do. But you can see that it's got only one side of the chain.
Yeah.
So the other side of the chain doesn't exist. So it's kind of defying gravity here. And then, even though Midjourney's latest version is getting better at hands, when you look at his right hand and he's holding some sort of a Starbucks cup, you can see his clutching is like a fist, but he's not really holding anything. So the hand is still a giveaway. Reminds me of the fake Donald Trump getting arrested pictures.
Yeah.
So the guy who posted this, the Bellingcat journalist called Elliot Higgins, of course, had a field day because he had made these while he was waiting for the news to break that Donald Trump was getting arrested. So that news didn't happen last week, but it did now.
Really?
Yes, he got arrested. He got indicted.
Okay.
So he's going to have to stand trial. He's being accused of trying to, paying hush money to this lady, Stormy Daniels. It happened in 2000 when he was running for president. So I know, when there's this former Playboy model who knows that she slept with him, that's a bad look if you're running for president of the United States. It's a historic moment because I think he's the first person who ever was president of the United States who's going on trial.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that all of the other ones were like angels or anything, but this is he's making history. But I'm guessing not in the way that he thought it would be.
No.
So I'm expect a lot more of this type of images. I'm having a great time. As you know, I'm looking forward to text-to-video generation. And then we had a slightly frightening one called Will Smith eating spaghetti. Just if you're only listening through Twitter, for example, shout out to Chaos. You have to see it. You cannot unsee it. It was posted on another subreddit called Stable Diffusion, but it was not created with Stable Diffusion. It was created using something called Model Scope text-to-video feature, which is currently not a real software. It's a collaboration. You can participate in the project through Hugging Face. Hugging Face is an online community of people who want to work together and develop stuff on top of existing code. It's a very big player, Hugging Face, in the AI development space. And so what you can do is that you can get the code over there and then pay for server time because you need, a lot of CPU to run this. And there's a few examples on Hugging Face of the prompts. You type in a text prompt and then it will generate. But this person, his account is called Chain Drop on Reddit. He simply typed in Will Smith eating spaghetti, and the result is frankly terrifying. It's also hilarious, but you can see that with Stable Diffusion, Midjourney, DALL-E all growing up and then improving with every version. I am now looking to text to video, and this is where these three were like a year ago.
Yeah.
So, a lot of room for improvement. There's a lot of things going wrong with Will Smith's face.
Oh my God.
And you can clearly see that we're not there yet. But of course, that's where text-to-image was only 1 or 2 years ago. So
Crazy.
This can go really, really fast. And I was curious because although it was posted in a subreddit called Stable Diffusion, it's made by Model Scope. So I'm looking at Runway. You've been playing with Runway ML, right?
Nice.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, because it's in the browser, so you have always access to your files. And when you're editing video with Premiere or After Effects, you need to take it step by step by step. It generates, but not that good as Runway ML, like removing structures in your
remove this driving car from.
And I also played around with the text to video. Text to video, but it was our video, the explainer video for our website. And I asked to make 3D characters, and it was really funny. I don't have it right now, but it was, oh my God, there was.
And is it still free, or are you using a free version or a paid version?
I was on the waiting list, and
you got in.
Yeah, I got in, but it's 3 seconds. You use 3 seconds.
It's limited.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so the clips you're
Yeah.
you're using are limited. 3
Yeah.
seconds.
3
That's like
seconds.
an animated GIF. It's like 3
Yeah.
seconds. But you've been able to play with it. So I'm looking at Runway ML. So there's this new player called Model Scope.
Okay.
And that was the first time I heard about Model Scope. And I tried to find out who's behind Model Scope. And usually there's a little bit of Google in there. But this time there isn't. So I landed on a Chinese website, modelscope.cn, and then now the plot thickens. It's actually owned by a daughter company of Alibaba, which is like the bigger than Amazon e-commerce player. So this is actually the first time, because up until now we knew that there was a lot of there's this ambition of the Chinese government when it comes to AI development, and then it went awfully quiet. So this is the first time I'm seeing what I'm guessing is a startup that is at the same level as the other ones that we're looking at, in one of the most exciting fields, which is, I think, text to video.
Yeah, I'm curious
generative
because they are so good with data AI at this moment with TikTok and Sheen. So I'm curious what they can do with creative AI now.
Well, looking at ModelScope, so the website is ModelScope, SCOPE.cn, and then usually your browser will translate most of what's on the page. So as far as I can guess, it's a startup and it's catching up.
I'm curious about, because I saw the one picture was with Shutterstock watermark.
Yes. Yeah, you're not supposed to train your model on, images that were owned by others. So I can see a lawsuit coming. But there must be a lot of video that I can train that model on.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to this one. So this is another one on our watch list. Will Smith eating spaghetti. And then, so you're also involved in a project that uses the Unreal Engine to create. You'll probably hear more about this in the coming months. We can't tell you now unless we kill you. But I mentioned Unreal Keanu, no doubt. So Unreal Keanu is a deep-faked Keanu Reeves. And when you mention Keanu, you get my attention because I'm a big fan of Keanu Reeves' work. And so there's a YouTube channel, there's a TikTok channel, and it's getting better and better, I think. And the name Unreal Keanu implies that it uses the Unreal Engine to generate this deepfake. And then there's a sibling now. So after Unreal Keanu, there's now Unreal Jason Statham. You know who Jason Statham is?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Good actor. Really good actor.
Yeah. He used to be a diver, and that's where the body comes from. If you're a good swimmer, that's the type of body you get. So this is Unreal Keanu is really good at YouTube Shorts, and I can see and of course TikTok.
Oh, we have a video.
Yeah, the music is. So, for those who are only listening, Unreal Jason Statham scares Unreal Keanu because he's a lot taller and stronger than Keanu. So I'm still curious about. So whoever is going to interview Keanu Reeves next, the lucky bastard, should ask what he how he feels about this, because even though it clearly states that it's a deepfake version, it's a very thin line. I know that Keanu Reeves was okay with his likeness being used in a game, I think.
Cyberpunk 3000.
Cyberpunk 3000. Yeah. And when interviewed about that, he was pretty, chill about the fact that people can... Is it a character? It's a playable character or a non-playable character?
I never played the game, but I saw trailers of it with Keanu.
Yeah. So he probably had like an arrangement with the makers. I don't think he has an arrangement with Unreal Keanu, so I'm curious what he thinks about that. But the big drama this week was not Will Smith eating spaghetti or the Pope looking dope in a puffy jacket. It was obviously this super lame open letter that was being published by an institute. Before this, I never heard of it. The Future of Life Institute. That could be anything. It could be an anti-abortion organization for all that. The Future of Life Institute. Never heard of it. And they published an open letter. Now, I cannot. When I see the word open letter, I have to roll my eyes. I mean, really, an open letter. Jesus. But it got a lot of attention because of the message, of course. The message says that we should stop AI. And the stop was weird because what they're proposing is, and I'm going to see if I can read it the way they worded it.
Friends of me.
To put a 6-month pause on the development of AI. 6-month pause on training AI systems more powerful than GPT-4. So they were pretty specific against, GPT-4. I mean, I was like, what's the agenda here?
Yeah.
And it got a lot of attention for this Future of Life Institute because of the people who signed the petition to pause the development for 6 months. Because, keep your finger on the button because here we go again, Elon Musk signed it, and Steve Wozniak signed it, and Yuval Noah Harari signed it, and then a lot of academic people. I had a look at the list, and a lot of them work for universities, even like who I think is the smartest Belgian woman alive. Her name is Patty Maas. She works at MIT in Massachusetts. She also signed it. So on the one hand, when I had a quick look at the list, I said, of course, academics will sign this because AI has been the subject of academic research for at least maybe even 40 years. So they've been working on like neural nets and developing things that could win a game of Go. And the funding, it's been hard, There are a lot of people like Geoffrey Hinton have been working really hard to develop whatever AI was going to be, of machine learning or deep learning, as it would call it. And now they're being bypassed in this AI race by some silly startup, right? So that's what I first thought. But then I really wanted to know, who the hell is this Future of Life Institute? And that's where the plot thickens. Because...
Was it Google?
As I expected, they incidentally partner up with bigger companies like Google, Amazon, or Microsoft. I had expected that. And then, of course, you can criticize them for that. How independent are you when you have these structural partnerships? But back in 2015, the Future of Life Institute partnered with, keep your finger on the button, I don't care anymore, it's for a good cause. Let's just do it. In 2015, Future of Life Institute partnered with Elon Musk, Stephen Hawking, and several other prominent individuals to launch an institute called, and you'll never guess, you literally never guess, they launched OpenAI.
No.
They did. The Future of Life Institute launched OpenAI. Yep. And then last November, and this explains, of course, where all of this comes from. Because as you know, the one Elon Musk, he resigned from the board of OpenAI in 2018, officially due to potential conflicts of interest with his work at Tesla and SpaceX. But he wanted to become the CEO of OpenAI, and the current CEO is Sam Altman, not Elon Musk. So that's interesting, isn't it? Besides that, I'm not impressed by Future of Life solution. I get it that they want to signal that, this is really, it's going really fast. It's causing a lot of chaos and amazement, but causing a lot of chaos. But why appeal? why say let's pause it for 6 months? What's supposed to happen? What kind of magic is supposed to happen in 6 months? Is Google going to catch up? Is legislation going to catch up? Is our governments going to catch up? What 6 months is nothing. Just blink your eyes twice and you're 6 months along the road. So, and pause. What do they mean by pause? What is everyone at? Because it's so specifically targeted at OpenAI's ChatGPT 4. What are they going to do if they're not allowed to develop? Are they going to unpaid leave? Or it's silly. And I'm not the only one who has some criticism. So the first criticism that I noticed was by Timnit Gebru. And I remember her name because she used to be in charge of the ethical committee at Google and then kind of got nudged out because she's very vocal. About the bro culture in Google. So she's not just anyone. But she used to be the AI researcher at Google. And the irony is that one of the papers that she wrote, she calls it the stochastic parrots paper, because that's the metaphor she's using when she's talking about language models. And so her paper, she was one of the authors, right? So our paper is being quoted literally in the open letter by, the Future of Life Institute. But they don't appear to have read her paper because her paper actually tries to warn against, shouting like, the sky's going to fall and will somebody please think of these children. So she's got a pretty elaborate tweet about this. And she calls the open letter this stupid letter because I misquoted her. And then another very important voice when we talk about AI is his name is Andrew Ng, Andrew Ng, and he's back in 2000. I think. Let me check my notes. Back in 2018, he was one of those. 2018, him together with another really super intelligent AI expert, Geoff Hinton. So these two, and then another one called Fei Fei Li. They actually appealed 2018 for an AI reset, as they called it, which is a lot more drastic than a 6-month pause button.
Yeah.
So they actually did this 5 years ago, but their message was different. Specifically, Andrew Ng, he has always been pleading for more education around this. So instead of like panicking and we're all going to die and the sky is going to fall, what he says is we need to adjust our education system so that we learn how to work with AI instead of trying to stop what's coming. And then I already published my blog post when Andrew Ng on Twitter. He also had an opinion about this open letter, and I'm just going to read his tweet. So the call for a 6-month moratorium on making AI progress beyond GPT-4 is a terrible idea. So he's still, I mean, if even he says, so it's a stupid letter, it's a terrible idea. And then, of course, you say, okay, well, I agree that there's a lot of chaos and it's evolving really fast. I think that's exciting, but a lot of people think there's chaos.
We're gonna die.
It's while this battle is going on between a couple of the giants. Like I'm imagining, like so the fight match between Google and Microsoft. While everyone is distracted by that, there are other players who are silently moving on at even faster pace, like NVIDIA. And NVIDIA is going really, really fast. I think that while Google and Microsoft are fighting, I think the real winner, I think, will be NVIDIA, because of course they're focusing on facilitating all of this AI, not just by hosting it, but also by developing the right hardware and software that all of these researchers and developers and businesses building businesses on top of AI APIs will have to use. So they're actually the big winner of this.
They had a keynote at the beginning of this
Yes,
week.
it was very spectacular.
Yeah, I need to watch it.
Yes,
for this weekend.
But there was a lot of really good long-form video content this week.
I saw a little clip where a woman was talking to a camera.
Yeah.
And it was rendered in 20 seconds a movie of 10 seconds.
That's the role
And
that.
it was her digital twin as well. So it was
Oh,
really amazing. Yeah, it was nice. I need to watch it. Yeah.
but Future of Life Institute. Go home. You're drunk. No, that's not gonna be it. And there are. I mean, they're not the first. They're not the only one, and they definitely don't have the best proposal to do something with it. But actually, 3 separate people in the past few days walked up to me. That happens sometimes, and they say, "Did you read this open letter?" And then they say,
Yeah.
"Yeah."
Yeah.
You nervous now? No. I do think that maybe this will trigger the first global legislation because there's not a lot. It's like human rights, Declaration of Human Rights. Maybe we need something similar for AI rights, and then, but it's not. I mean, of course it's hard, but why a 6 month pause? Why not, get together and think about the equivalent of the laws of robotics? And I work around, dangerous AI because that does exist. Dangerous AI is AI that can make decide things that have a direct impact on people's lives, like autonomous drones, autonomous weaponized drones who use AIs. They use AI to make their decisions, so there are no humans involved. So once you launch this drone, and the drone thinks, the target is anyone, might be someone who's going to take away my Twitter verified checkmark. That's his target, and it will get his target. There's no way to stop it, and it will make its own decisions to get out of the way whatever gets in the way of reaching his target. That is dangerous AI. That is dangerous AI, or AI being used by governments to decide who gets funding and who goes to jail and who should be eliminated. That is dangerous.
There was a video of the World Economic Forum of this week. There was a video that, they showed a video where that somebody was working and that the brain waves of your brain was interacting with the boss of the company and with each other as employees. And it was really, really scary to watch.
Yes, well, World Economic Forum is there are I think there are 3 organizations that have a far better understanding of the risks and the potential of AI, and the World Economic Forum is definitely one of them. The second one is the Electronic Frontier Foundation, because they look at how AI is being used for surveillance and law enforcement. Especially combined with facial recognition, AI can do a lot of harm because the civilians are not aware that this surveillance is being used, and that based on how much you look like an actual criminal, you might get arrested. Just like in Minority Report, that movie with Tom Cruise. So, and then the third one, and that one was new for me. It's the International Committee for Robot Arms Control. And but they keep an eye on these autonomous weaponized drones, which I personally think are the most dangerous type of AI. And for those 3, I think I see their role in trying to warn us about the risks, and I see how they can have an impact on, for example, legislation. I don't see it with the Future of Life Institute. I'm sorry, I don't see it. But speaking of long-form YouTube content, like the video where the CEO of NVIDIA demonstrates, so they had an event last week, and then this video is an absolute must-watch. Another must-watch, it blew my mind, is another great episode by Lex Fridman. For those who don't know, Lex Fridman, he's a Russian-born podcaster, really, and an AI researcher. I think he also works at MIT. Didn't sign the open letter, by the way. Didn't. And Lex Fridman's, I'm subscribed to his channel because his interviews are great, but I don't always watch them all the way because that's long form content. I mean, so this week he had a 2-hour interview with Sam Altman. And wow, that was just amazing. I mean, I tried to summarize it in a blog post, but these 2 guys, you can just yeah, you can be a fly on the wall while two super intelligent guys are stimulating each other with, this a real dialogue.
Yeah, the questions of
It's not an
Lex
interview,
is
it's a
crazy.
dialogue, and it's really so. If you haven't subscribed in any case to Lex
Yeah.
Friedman's podcast channel
But
on
be
YouTube,
aware.
but do watch this one.
But be aware, it's a dry person.
Yes, I remember that he interviewed a lot of famous people like Jordan Peterson, and I remember specifically an interview with Vitalik Buterin, who is also quite dry. I mean, neither of them cares about really how fashionable they look. They both decide to have some sort of a non-look. Not going to the hairdresser, but just going like buzz cut and
Black suit.
Vitalik Buterin t-shirt from I don't know where he gets it, but so they always wear the same thing. There was back in the day you just had a black curtain as a background, so it's very, very basic. I think when it comes to minimalism in the way it looks, but maximalism when it comes to content, this was the top interview. Lex Friedman and Vitalik Buterin. Super interesting because both of them have a Russian background. And they even talk a little bit of Russian in between as well. Fascinating dialogue. But then this week, the interview with Sam Altman dropped. He did a few other interviews as well. But here, I think the whole dynamics was really interesting to watch. So one of the many interesting things that they talk about is artificial general intelligence, which is not one of my favorite topics because it scares a lot of people. It's the idea that AI will become smarter than humans, and that threatens a lot of egos. Humans tend to think that they're the smartest species on the planet, and we kind of make this hierarchy of animals on the planet with us at the top because we're the smartest. I don't agree with that, but and based on my own experience, of course, and I've done some incredible stupid things in my life, so that's what I based it on. I'm making So, to my surprise, Sam Altman actually said that I don't think it's a joke when I'm saying that I'm a little scared of how fast it's evolving. So Microsoft also published a scientific paper this week. Is that the things they're working on at OpenAI has sparks of intelligence. So sometimes, even at OpenAI, they're surprised not only by how popular it has become, how many millions of people use it, but also these sparks of intelligence kind of, they don't know where they come from. So they can't reverse engineer how some of the answers, and that surprised me, of all people, Sam Altman, to say that, yeah, I'm a little scared too. And I think we all should be. So that's really interesting. And you also talked a lot about, so it's still called Open AI, right? So although it's now a for-profit organization, although it started as a non-profit, it's now for-profit, and the business model is based on APIs. It still has a very high degree of openness. So they basically trying out things in public, even though they know that it's going so fast that it's making a lot of mistakes. And then one of the things I learned is that so they actually open source their evals. So the eval is the criteria that are being added to the algorithm to keep it in balance so it doesn't go crazy or go all racist so they publish these evals because they constantly change. So they still, even though they're a for-profit company, they still try to keep this open source mindset. But the thing about I don't want to talk like 20 minutes about a 2-hour YouTube video, but at the end of the video, Lex Friedman breaks the fourth wall and then looks straight into the camera. And he is already very serious, but he's dead serious. He looks into the camera and then he quotes something that Alan Turing, the father of AI, once said. I'm going to read it because it's chilling. He says, "It seems probable that once the machine thinking method had started, it would not take long to outstrip our feeble powers. Computers, would be able to converse with each other to sharpen their wits. At some stage, therefore, we should have to expect the machines to take control. Oh, it's giving me goosebumps.
Yeah.
So that's how good this video is. So you have to watch it. And so when machines take control, of course, we think of Terminator style robots, and that's because we want it to have a body, because otherwise we can't imagine how it works. It thinks, it talks. So what is the it, right? So we want it to have a body, and then very often it's anthropomorphic body, but it, so it still has to look a little bit like a robot. So it reminds me a lot of, as you know, I'm a big Star Trek fan, and one of my many favorite characters of Star Trek: The Next Generation is an AI-driven robot, humanoid robot called Data, and so Data is not human, but he tries to be. He would like to be human. That's one of the big plots. Is that Data it's like Pinocchio, right? So he really would like to be human. And in one of the episodes, there's this researcher who says, I want to take him apart and reverse engineer the AI so that we can build more of them. And Data objects to this. And he's denied the right to object to being taken apart. So the whole episode is about his boss, Captain Jean-Luc Picard, defending him successfully, making the point that even though he's like this humanoid robot with a synthetic skin and runs on its own AI, it has agency. So it should be able to make decisions about itself.
Yeah, I think 7 years ago I was researching AI, and they were saying when it's 2040, we will hit super intelligence. But I think it will be quicker if we see what it's doing now.
Well, I don't believe in super intelligence. It doesn't make any sense. But one of the things that Sam Altman mentions is that since they all use bits and bytes and data, which is standardized, it's easy for different AIs to talk to each other. And that's what the Alan Turing quote was about. Is that they can learn from each other very quickly. So after a while, they won't need us anymore to learn. And I can imagine it's very annoying when people are talking in a language you don't understand. I mean, we've all been on a bus where two people were talking in I don't know, in Arab, and then you think it's about you. You feel threatened, right? So that's the real problem.
Yeah.
That's what makes people so nervous. What are they talking about? And but like a super intelligence wouldn't make any sense. It wouldn't make any sense because why? What would it do? Why would it want to be super intelligent? It's a lot more productive if an AI is narrow and is really good at making paper clips or is really good at making sure that everyone gets paid according to their talent and their efforts.
And solutions for interstellar planetary.
Yeah, cures for cancer. But why a super intelligence that manages all of this? It would make a lot more sense to have a network of AIs who, whenever they need to, can tap into each other's algorithms and data and then learn from each other. But no, they're not going to take over humanity. Maybe they already have, and we just don't know. And they're keeping us on as pets, amusing pets.
And maybe they can solve quantum computing really fast because they are...
Maybe it's the other way around, that quantum computing can enable AIs to evolve. But this idea that they're going to evolve into one super enemy, I think, is not helping anyone.
Yeah.
And if you think about it from purely logic point of view, it doesn't make any sense either. Because why would an AI do that? Doesn't make any sense. So no, there's not going to be a super AI. However, I can understand that it makes a lot of people nervous that we are now training AIs. That is why ChatGPT is still free because they need these millions of users as trainers for whatever the next version will be. We are all training AIs right
Yeah.
now. And the next stage will, of course, is that they will learn from each other and from themselves. That's the whole idea of machine learning,
Yeah.
so that it can take it, just think through. And I understand that's a little scary for some people, but I don't think we're the smartest. I mean, why? And what does this even mean? I mean, is this all you have? Is that as a human race you can say, yeah,
We are the best.
we're naked monkeys, and then 1 in 3 have back pain because we started to walk up instead of on all fours, and when our babies are born, the heads are so heavy we can even lift it, while other species are able to walk and run.
Yeah.
I mean, as biologically speaking, we're very messy.
Yeah.
Very messy machines. Very messy machines. And compared to the other animals, but yeah, we're the most intelligent. That's our brains telling us, ourselves. The brain is telling us that the brain is what makes us superior to other animals. Yeah. No, I'm not. Sometimes I get impressed, by the amazement, but I wasn't in this case. So let's move on to something a bit more light-footed. I'm not sure. Are there any comments on Facebook that we should take into account?
No, just likes.
Oh, all right. Well, we're just gonna mention light-footed and heartwarming things from now on. So I was talking about long-form YouTube content, and there's this YouTube channel, and I've watched it. I was subscribed. It's called De mi rancho a tu cochina, which is a cooking channel, really. Its main character there is a Mexican lady called Angela Garfias Vasquez. And you never should ask a lady how old she is, but she's actually, if you look at her, the YouTube channel, so she shows she shows how to cook. Let me check with her more, how to make tortillas, the way they make it in her region where she comes from. But the reason I'm mentioning De mi rancho a tu cochina is that
got a video.
You have a video, yes.
Hola, mi gente, bienvenidos a mi rancho. Hoy les voy a preparar unas sabrosas enchiladas como se preparan aquí en Michoacán. Sencillas pero sabrosas. Aquí tengo una lechuga.
Yeah, aquí tengo. So she's showing what kind of ingredients you need, and then most of them are from her rancho, right? So from her garden. Now, this channel has been around since 2019. It has over 4 million subscribers, and they were mentioned in the New York Times. So the New York Times published a whole article about them, and they're actually trying to explain why. It's very specific. I mean, it's a Mexican nonna, right? So she's a grandma, and it's one of her granddaughters, I think, who sometimes helps her out. But why is this popular? They're also a little salty, because they mention in the article that 4 million subscribers is more than Martha Stewart's YouTube channel and the New York Times cooking channel combined. Yes. And the explanation is, of course, that Doña Angela, even if you don't understand Spanish, the way she looks like everybody's grandma. And then the thing she's wearing over her clothes, it's like a mix between an apron and a dress. My grandma, both of my grandmas wore one of these. It's the kind of thing you wear over your clothes so they don't get dirty.
Yeah.
I think it's perceived as authentic, but it's also relatable because she reminds 4 million people of their grandma. I mean, that's just amazing. So my blessings to Doña Angela. She has a lot of fans, and I'm one of them. So one of those bucket list things that in my head is to go to Mexico. I want to go to Mexico one day. I still perceive it as a little dangerous to do like a solo trip through the country and taking buses and public transport. So I'm not ready for it yet. It's improving. I mean, the situation is improving. It's still a little, edgy. But then I would have to learn Spanish. And my first idea to learn Spanish is not by Duolingo, but by binge watching these amazing Latin American telenovelas. Because if you really want to know what's going on, why is everyone so upset? Who died? Who's in love with whom? Who cheated on whom? So that's a great way to learn a language. But I changed my mind. So I'm now going to learn English by binge watching Doña Angela's, and I might have like a Mexican accent if I do that. But I could both cook and speak Spanish at the same time. So de mi rancho a tu cocina. If you're not subscribed yet, please do.
So soon we can eat guacamole and everything.
Yes, you're getting hungry, right? You're getting hungry. Let's have a look at a few other. While speaking of traveling, I'm thinking of where to travel next this summer. I haven't decided on anything yet. But Finland might be a good idea. I've been to Finland only to Reykjavik, I think. I've been to Finland like once or twice. But as you know, Finland, so every year there's this research based on a survey of how happy people think they are. And then, of course, the most unhappy countries are the ones with the war going on, like Afghanistan, for example. I think it's literally the most unhappy country in the world. But for the fifth year in a row, the happiest country in the world appears to be Finland.
Yeah.
Which surprised a lot of Finnish people I know. Because do you have any Finnish friends?
No, well, Swedish.
Swedish?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're different. The Finns are different.
But even they are really happy and, cozy. They're cozy people.
Yeah, that's the Hygge is Danish, yeah. But the Finnish, I've been in a lot of... I used to work for a company that is originally Finnish. It's called Sanoma, and a publisher. And the meetings with the Finnish and the Flemish always went really well because we were collectively annoyed with the Dutch, who have a completely different meeting style. And they're very, no bullshit, okay, let's just do this and then take the job seriously. And then as soon as, 5 o'clock comes around, and that's what they have in common maybe with the other Scandinavian countries, then you would start drinking, basically. So, so the Finnish and fifth happiest country in the world for 5th day in a row. Now, I'm more of a marketing profile, so sometimes I get amazed by the creativity of marketing campaigns, and I think it's the official tourism board for Business Finland. All right. Which is some type of destination marketing organization. They started to work on this, the 5th year in the year, the happiest country. So they launched, and I know this sounds cliche, they launched some sort of a contest on social media, and you have to apply to stay for a week, I think, in a resort in Finland, and then you get, the sauna and the wellness.
Old-fashioned marketing.
You get happiness coaches, training by happiness coaches, and you might think, but we've heard that like many times before. But I kind of like the whole style of it. So they say, find your inner Finn, master in happiness challenge. Which is, I think, on Instagram is the clearest example. The account is called @OurFinland. And I like the creativity. I mean, they heard like, oh my God, the 5th year in a row, we're the happiest country in the world again. And then there was this marketing person that said, let's work with that. And actually, it appeals to me. I mean, it's the Kuru Resort is where you'll stay. Luxury resort in the Finnish Lakeland region. You get the program. The content is all about emphasizing good sleep and a digital detox. The villas have no TVs. There will be Wi-Fi, fortunately. So I'm mentally already in Finland. I like the idea.
I love Scandinavia.
You do?
Yeah, I love it.
But could you live there year round, even in winter when it's like bloody cold?
Yeah. Warm-blooded, so.
Yeah, I believe that. But I don't like cold, and I no, and snow, absolutely not. I would go there like in July when they're all, going to the woods and the cabins, and then
Summer is pretty because all the trees are really green. It's really green,
yeah,
and the moss. Do you say moss? What is the no? Moss.
moss,
Moss.
Kate
Yeah.
Moss,
Yeah.
yeah, the moss.
Also beautiful. Really.
Sleeping. There are, of course, circumstances where you're not supposed to sleep. For example, behind the wheel of your vehicle. And now let's move to Canada. It's also in the north. It's just across, the ocean. So there's the Canada Safety Board, I think they're called, launched sleeptracks.ca. And also, I know, not the first time that they're launching a Spotify list, but I like the creativity in this one. So the message is this one. Drowsy driving causes 21% of all road accidents, killing thousands of Canadians every year. Despite the facts, many drivers don't think the road is powerful enough to put them to sleep. So that's when they thought that's a challenge accepted. So to prove how sleep-inducing the road can be, we've turned 3 of Canada's most monotonous highways into a series of sleep aids to help you drift off from the safety of not your car, but your bed. Do you have Spotify on this machine? I'm
No.
not sure. Oh,
No.
okay.
No.
But I think there's like a video that kind of. So there's this road in Alberta. And then I like it a lot because you know that usually it's like an ASMR voice,
Yeah.
like the French whisperer who talks you to sleep. In this case, it's the sound of your wheels.
After a 2-hour delay, your flight into Calgary has finally landed, but your journey is far from over. As you make your way across the parking lot, your mind shifts to the 809-kilometer stretch of road ahead of you. Out of the city, up north onto Highway 63, and beyond.
Yeah, I'm imagining being a trucker right
Yeah.
now with, 16-ton, 16 wheels truck and a heavy load slowly dozing off. So this is, I recognize the voice, by the way, but I think she's also one of those
Headspace,
famous ASMR voices. So that's enough marketing. However, there's actually they're an artist collective called Mischief. It's spelled MSCHF. And then every couple of months or so, they do what they call a drop, which is a project. I think the most famous ones were the Satan shoes. Remember those?
No.
The Satan shoes with Lil Nas X.
Oh
A
no.
collaboration. Oh, so that was a couple of years ago. Mischief did a collaboration with Lil Nas X. And so it appeared to be a collaboration with Nike, but it wasn't. Nike very quickly said that they didn't want anything to do with it. But they were red Satan shoes and with a pentagram charm and a reference to the Bible verse Luke 10:18. I don't know my Bible, but I'm guessing that's like the only reference to Satan in the Bible. And a drop of human blood on the sole. So, of course, Nike very quickly lawyered up and sued Mischief for trademark infringement. And some people were accusing Lil Nas X. So that was in March 2021 when Lil Nas X had just gone viral a couple of months before on TikTok with, Old Town Road.
No.
Lil Nas X. His
Old Town-
career,
oh,
that guy.
Yeah.
So his
okay.
career had just taken off thanks to TikTok.
Yeah.
And then he did this collaboration with Mischief, launching the Satan shoes. Nike suing Mischief, and then a lot of people, will somebody please think of the children? Moral panic, Satan shoes. So that's one of the things that Mischief does. So they also try to do this spectacular thing to point. That's what artists do. They will do something weird, outrageous, just to point at something. So that's a very long introduction for their latest drop. And their latest drop is about doing your taxes. And everybody hates that, filing your taxes. And they found a way to make it more pleasant. Tax, and they call it Tax Heaven 3000, which is a wordplay with tax haven. Tax haven is a place like, an island where tax laws are a little more lenient. And it looks like, it's very pink. So what exactly is going on here? It caught my eye because in Belgium there was this really lame marketing campaign by CM, which is like a health insurance organization, and they got a little bit of press because they opened an OnlyFans account, where an OnlyFans lady, I don't even remember her name, would give you sex advice, and because they wanted to reach young people, and I thought, oh my God, you have no idea what OnlyFans is. You have absolutely no idea what OnlyFans is, or what kind of people actually pays to see content on Only. It's not the young people. They're still getting laid. I mean, they don't have to pay people to pretend that they think they're attractive. Anyway, I thought that was a bad example, but this one is good. Tax Heaven 3000. It's unfortunately only software, so I don't have a computer, so you need a computer on Mac or PC, whatever. And then when you install this, there's this this manga character that walks you through it. So she will make it very easy and very attractive for you to enter your data. And then there's also a commercial level to it, because if you want to, and if you like her, I think there's a boy as well. I'm not sure. It's a little waifu, right? It's a tax waifu. And if nothing creates a bond like filing your taxes together. I mean, that's when you're meant to be, right? So if you can feel the connection, you can also order the waifu pillow, a physical pillow, to snuggle up at night and do whatever unspeakable things with the person who helped you file your taxes. Would that work with you as a pickup line?
No.
Would you? No?
No.
I'm not sure. I'm in doubt between, I appreciate your help, but I don't want to tell you what my finances look like.
Oh, I don't care, but I don't like it, so I send it to my boekhouder, accountancy, and
they do everything for you.
No, I don't like it to do it.
Pickup lines. We should pick up on that, because I heard someone was another Keith and the Girl is a very famous podcaster, and then the girl said she claims that Morgan Freeman once tried to seduce her, and that he said, "I want to make you breakfast." Would that work with you? Someone saying, "I want to make you breakfast."
Yeah.
How would you like your eggs? And if you don't like the person saying that, how would you like your eggs? The answer is fertilized. Tax Heaven. We're almost there. One more, and then we're done for today.
Oh, I like this one.
Yeah. You have to see it. It's a Twitter account, my new favorite Twitter account. It uses virtual effects, but it also always uses the same virtual effects. It replaces the faces of characters, actors, singers with the heads of velociraptors, and you have to see this.
Oh my God.
That was, of course, Never Gonna Give You Up, the eternal cultural icon from 1987, but with a velociraptor. The account is called But With Raptors, and it's on Twitter. That's all for today, folks. Let us know what you thought of this episode, and don't forget to tune in exactly.
Timmy is curious because he needs to re-watch the...
He missed the start.
He missed it.
We talked about you, Timmy.
Yeah.
In the first 2 or 3 minutes of this episode, we mentioned you.
Yeah. Okay.
But he got a velociraptor, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So see you all, guys, in exactly 1 week at 5 o'clock CET for more Chaos and Amazement. Thank you for watching and listening.
Bye-bye.
Love you.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye.
was op het moment 5 mee aan luisteren. Dat is meestal